in the small, forgotten village of Kermer. The name Tung 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 Sahar whispered through the air like a haunting chant. It was a name spoken only in hushed tones, avoided in conversation, and left unmentioned in old records. Legend had it that Sahar was once a healer, revered for her mysterious powers. But one stormy night, she disappeared, leaving behind only an eerie silence that blanketed the village. The villagers said they could hear her name in the wind. After that, the rhythm of her name, Tung 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 Sahar, echoing from the woods. One late evening, a curious traveler named Kieran arrived in Kermer, unfamiliar with the village's history. He heard the locals murmuring about the name and decided to investigate. The wind carried the words, Tung 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 Sahar, as he walked down a narrow path into the dense forest. He paused, feeling the strange weight in the air. A soft clicking sound reverberated in the distance, growing louder with every step. Tung, tung, tung. The rhythmic tapping sounded almost like a heartbeat. As he ventured deeper, the sound seemed to surround him, until it was no longer distant. The trees loomed over him, their branches like hands trying to pull him into the darkness. He spun around nothing but the sound. And then, out of the shadows, a figure emerged. Her face was gaunt, hollowed by time, with eyes that gleamed like stars in a forgotten sky. Tung 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 Sahar, she murmured, her voice a rasping whisper. Kieran froze, unable to move, as the sound grew louder, more insistent. The tapping, rhythmic like a drumbeat, reverberated in his chest. He turned to flee, but the path was gone, replaced by an endless circle of trees. He was trapped, surrounded by the whispering, the rhythm, the name. And then, the figure reached out. Her fingers were cold and thin, like dry branches, and as they touched his skin, he felt his life drain away, absorbed into the very air around him. In the village, Kieran's disappearance was the last to be whispered about. But they all knew Tung 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 Sahar was not a name, it was a warning.